Welcome to the Imago Way presentation.
We appreciate that you're watching our video. Our outcomes for this particular workshop and lesson are for you to better understand how Imago delivers our engaging and impactful workshops. Our agenda will include the why, setting the mood, talk about goat race, a stoking activity, 70-30, beautiful questions, and of course feedback at the end. This could take 30 to 45 minutes depending on how often you press pause and want to rewatch and learn again. The rules for our time together: pause as needed, imagine application, and you'll probably need something to write on and write with. Hopefully that sounds good to everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to friends@weareimago.com. And if you need to stop, walk away, press pause, feel free to save and exit your work if you're doing this as a learner.
So an Imago workshop is probably unlike any other that you've been in. First, we focus on the audience rather than the facilitator. The audience are the most important people in the room. Then we talk about how you feel rather than what you know. That's what we focus on. And then the interaction is just as important to us as the content. So we include a lot of participation within our workshops.
Absolutely.
And why is this important? Well, we gauge the success of our workshops on the impact. So we've noticed that with a positive and engaging environment, the audience is much more likely to participate, much more likely to get something out of it, learn the tools, and enjoy the workshop as a whole.
So it takes several components and ideas to successfully execute an Imago experience.
The first is prep work. We want to make sure that we research the content and the audience. We want to know who we're talking to and what's going on in the world. That way we can provide relevant examples within the content itself. We want to make adjustments based on the audience, and then practice until we're the expert. We don't want to be reading off the slides the whole time. And lastly, we want to be early and over-prepared. For us, that means being about 15 to 20 minutes early at least, and being over-prepared with materials, over-prepared with technology, anything that we think we might need.
Absolutely. Got to make sure you can find that parking space before you get into the workshop. So setting the mood once you're actually in the workshop space is really important. We like to have music in our workshops for folks as they're walking in. So you want to make sure that the audience is going to enjoy the music or the station that you pick. So being relevant and making sure that they are familiar with the music, or at least something they might enjoy. We like to set up the room so that it's conducive for learning. So we want to make sure that folks are able to write on something or with something so that you can walk around the room and engage with people and your audience. So again, making sure that your presentation in that space is conducive for learning. We also want to make sure that our materials are ready. So that means printing them beforehand, bringing them with you, having markers, that's something to write on and with, and also having those accessible and easily ready to hand out when needed. Another piece that we like to include is
food and drink. Everybody likes to have a little bit of food or drinks when you're going through a presentation. That can be as simple as letting people know where water is or providing it. You can provide a snack. We have learned that chocolate is always a winner.
Always.
That's great and makes people happy, more excited to be in the space.
Absolutely. Another component is smells. So there are good smells and bad smells sometimes. And so you don't want to be overwhelmed with either one of them. So making sure you have the right incense or
essential oils, candles,
to make sure that the room is inviting and has that pleasant smell for learning. The last thing that we like to do is we want to make sure that we're genuine and greeting people as they come into our space that we're going to be learning in. So that can be as simple as a hello, as simple as walking over and saying, hey, how's your day going? I'm glad you're here, that kind of thing. So making sure you're having that greeting as you walk in and folks walk in to meet you.
You want to make sure that people understand that you are just as excited to be there.
Yep, perfect. So setting the mood, you're going to see here a scenario, a location that you've arrived 30 minutes early for, and maybe it's not so inviting for learning. What would you do in this scenario, in this situation? How would you make this environment more conducive for learning? How would you add to it to make sure that folks are in a space that's comfortable and welcoming and inviting for them to be learning in?
The next thing we'll cover is goat race. This is a tool that you may already be familiar with. We actually went through it at the beginning of our time together today. It helps set the tone. It helps make sure that we all have clarity about our time together. It's an acronym. It stands for gratitude, outcome, agenda, time, rules, agree, clarity, and exit. We'll go through these in more depth, both in a lesson and in a workshop.
Absolutely. So stoking activities, we like to call them that because what do you think of when you hear the word icebreaker? Is that an exciting word?
It's terrible.
Terrible. Okay. So for us at Imago, of course, we like to change it up a little bit. And so we want to ask you what you think when you hear the word or term stoking activity. What does that make you think of?
It's better. I might not even know what that is.
Right,
Yeah.
there you go. So what it does with the stoking activity, it helps set the tone, it makes everyone a little more comfortable, it helps build the energy and create that inviting space for folks. It also stokes conversation, it can stoke ideas, and also fun is, again, part of what we want to make that experience and that learning opportunity to be a fun and engaging piece. And then it also can introduce themes or messages that might be throughout the workshop or the activities that you're doing. So again, it's very intentional in that we're changing the energy of the room, we're bringing it up, and we're making sure that folks are ready to learn. So if you had a 1-hour presentation on leadership that you were going to be presenting on, what would your stoking activity be? Take a few minutes, think about it, and feel free to be as creative as you'd like or as engaging as you would like it to be to get folks in the mood for learning about leadership.
The next thing we'll cover is the 70-30 rule. This means that the audience is speaking 70% of the time and the facilitator is only speaking 30% of the time. So how do we do this? Well, we ask a lot of open-ended questions, we allow for both small and large group discussions, and then we have to actively listen and show interest when the audience is participating so that they would like to do that more.
Absolutely. Beautiful questions. That's one of our other ways of engaging or inviting folks into our space. What is a beautiful question? Well, it's a genuine question, and it tells more about a person or in their life experiences. So not necessarily gauging knowledge as much as it is learning about an individual or learning about their perspective on something. Why would we do it this way? Well, we like to gain insight. We love learning. We like understanding our audience and who's in the room. We like to hear other perspectives. That's really important to us. And then it provides an opportunity for reflection and for sharing. So again, those are opportunities in that space to engage. How do we make sure that they're authentic when we go through this process? We create a comfortable space, and we want to make sure that everyone feels heard. No matter who's in the room, everyone has an opportunity to be heard. We like to include phrases such as,
embrace the awkward.
yep,
It's okay. There are no wrong answers, and only share what you're comfortable with.
and that's a really important one. You want to make sure that folks are comfortable in that space, and so they share what they are comfortable in letting others hear about themselves and their own experiences. So feedback is one of our last but not least components of our workshops. And why do we do that?
Well, feedback always helps us improve. It helps increase engagement and it checks for understanding. And then it helps improve that interactive two-way relationship with us and the audience.
Absolutely.
After hundreds of Imago workshops, feedback shows that the common Imago experience is applicable, educational, engaging, introspective, meaningful, and rewarding.
So that is why we have the Imago experience.
As with any Imago experience, we invite you to provide feedback through our I-Delta-O tool. We'd like to hear what you liked, your impressions, your deltas or what you would like to change, and your O's, your opportunities or outcomes, what you're taking away from this.
Thank you again for watching the Imago experience, and we'll see you next time.
Happy facilitating!